Doing the countdown, right?
No.
All right. What is up, guys? It is Monday afternoon, at least for me, Monday night for Stubbs, and it is time for Triple P, and that is the Plastic Platforms podcast. I am Centurion1307, and this is my cohort, Stubbs Gaming, and we are here to entertain, have fun, and break down the barriers of toxification that are taking over social media.
How are you doing? It's been a couple of weeks, and this time it has just been a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this time it's only been 2 weeks.
I normally send you the date over for the next one, and you're like, then we kind of remember, don't we? We do.
Yep. That's why I thank you for all the hard work you do. You totally helped out today, especially with everything going on here before work. Oh, sorry. Before the podcast, I had work, kind of.
Yeah, no. I mean, not really hard work. I mean, that new design you've done is incredible. It must have took ages to do that. That's really good work.
I would definitely say it took some time figuring out how do I make Kratos fighting Master Chief, because 2 different platforms. It took a lot of Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator to be able to create that thing, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Welcome BMG in the chat. He was quite impressive when I sent it over to him. He was, and then you put it on Twitter. Yeah, it's a fun one. I'm gonna have to get you to make a little version for the podcast feeds.
Oh yeah, no, Kratos and Master Chief are actually a PNG for me. I actually had to what's it called? Put all the red mist in the background and everything, all because the image that I pulled of Master Chief, it was in a red background, and obviously because of the red visor, I had to do what I had to do to make it look right.
But no, yeah, you're doing well there, because the red, it really makes it stand out. It does. It took a lot of hard work, because my thumbnails, they're not very good. I basically use a lot of basic Canvas. It's a free app, and but yours was from scratch, and it took a lot of hard work to actually do it. So thanks for that. It looks really nice. It does.
Hey, no problem, man. I have fun doing it. It's actually a lot of fun, especially when you want to create those images that everybody wants to see, but it's not really going to happen on its own. So it takes a little bit of artistic value to be able to pull that off. At least for me. I can't draw a picture worth a damn.
We still got some talent there, though. You've learned how to do it, so it's really good, that is, because it was like the one you previously done when we were talking about state of play. That one was also very good too. That was very impressive as well. That was.
I appreciate it, but man, it's been an eventful week, at least for you.
Has it?
Well, I'm sorry. I was keeping up with the political stuff that's going on in the UK.
Yeah. Wow. At least
that's a different story.
At least it takes a spotlight off American politics.
Actually, it just puts a spotlight on the fact that all politics are essentially bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
Or in your terms, bollocks.
Oh yes, we do say that. Bullshit, bollocks. Yeah.
I was gonna say, here in America we call bullshit. Over
Go
there,
on, say it. Say aluminium. Say
it. Aluminum. Aluminium.
There we go. Says it wrong.
Aluminium. Just like fish and crisps.
Fish and crisps.
You guys call chips. You guys call French fries chips, and you call chips crisps.
French fries? No, we don't. We call French fries French fries.
Then why do you call it fish and chips, and then all of a sudden you serve it with some French fries?
See, now there's a big difference there. Now
here we go.
No, because fish and chips are actually chips. If you look it up, French fries and chips are 2 different things. French fries are very cut thin, and whereas chips are they're much more chunkier. They are not the same thing. We
call them potato wedges.
See, we call them potato wedges as well, but they're not quite that. They're not. But you not call crisps, or do you call them chips?
You
No, like
mean
crisps, like
actual
Walker's
potato?
crisps.
We call them potato
Like,
chips. You mean the things that are like deep fried and put in bags like Lay's potato chips?
yeah, we call them crisps.
Yep, we call them chips.
Yeah.
Just like you guys
funny.
call that fancy game played with the black and white ball football.
See, I looked this up. I looked this up, right? And I always thought it was just Americans that called it soccer. Well, apparently the British invented the name soccer, but we never use it. But yeah, we call it football. You don't call it soccer. You do. But yeah,
it's always fun to just kind of poke fun at like the differences of an ocean can create between two cultures.
Oh, it's funny, it is. But no, yeah, there's not been that much going on recently. There's enough, isn't there? Because like in the summer, you always get the lull, don't you? Like, it's why I've put midweek gaming on a little bit of a break, because you don't get loads and loads of news or whatever coming out in the summer. But God of War Ragnarok is finally here.
I know.
Well, it's not here yet. Sorry, the date's been announced. Welcome, Invader Gaming. Thanks for stopping in. The TXR main man has arrived.
Another hardworking individual out there on the content trail of trying to create joy for gaming without tearing down people with toxicity, kind of thing.
Exactly. He definitely got it right on TXR. No talk about pineapple on pizza. I don't mind pineapple on pizza. It doesn't bother me. However, go on midweek gaming and Cerebral Paul will not be happy with you if you say that.
Oh my gosh. I'm an advocate for ham and pineapple pizza. I feel like people are a little bit they're not very open. They're like, I hate using the term in the closet about it, but I really do feel like when we order pizza at my job, we always make sure there's a ham and pineapple pizza along with like other choices, like everything on it, pepperoni and even cheese. But for some reason, the ham and pineapple is always the first one to go empty, even though everybody hates it. Interesting.
Exactly. Oh, BMG's not a fan either. Pineapple on a pizza, lovers should be put on an island on their own.
Well,
it's wrong on every level.
To describe it, at least for me, we all love pizza, but who wants to have just cheese pizza? A majority of the ingredients used on pizzas give me heartburn. And that's where I love ham and pineapple, because it doesn't happen as easily with ham and pineapple.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. That is.
All right. So, like you mentioned, we now have God of War Ragnarok released.
I did keep saying it was coming, because although PlayStation do delay, like people say they don't delay, but they do. They don't normally keep delaying and do another 2 or 3 or 4 delays. It's normally you'll get one delay. Technically speaking, although God of War Ragnarok was delayed, there wasn't a hammered in date as such, but you could regard it as still it was delayed once, but there wasn't a concrete date. You know, like e.g. Starfield. It wasn't.
We all know that trailer that came out with the 2021. Oh, God of War Ragnarok 2021. Well, 2021 came and went.
Yeah, but it wasn't it a little bit of writing at the bottom of the screen?
It said 2021, but we all made jokes saying, "Oh, 2021 is going to be when we see the next trailer for it."
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, you are right. I mean, delays are inevitable, but in the end, usually for the best they are.
Yes, usually, and that's where, I am not one to say that a game needs to be delayed out of preference for platform. I'm just saying that if a game needs to be delayed, it needs to be delayed, regardless of how bad people want to play this damn game. Let the developers delay the game so that way they can not have to do absolutely heinous things to basically get that game across the finish line, like, 50, 60-hour work weeks and stuff like that. Last night on TXR, we all talked about crunch, especially all this thing that's going on with Bethesda and Fallout 76, a game that was released in 2018. And oh my God, it was crunched. And we need to somehow hold Microsoft responsible for what went on in Bethesda years before the purchase. Well, okay, that's interesting. But like I said, also on TXR, name a job where your boss didn't make you work a little extra, where you were reluctant to do it, but you still did it.
Well, like on Midweek Gaming, like I tell you who talks about this a lot, Removal Sanity, because he works in the industry where crunch is just part of it, and a lot of the time, if you don't like, it's just part of the business in most industries now. It is.
So last night somebody called me a boomer in the chat. It's all good, but no, I'm actually 36 years old. I was raised by a World War II vet, so you could say I got some boomer mentality in me. But I just love this whole thing of did my grandfather snivel and cry when he was told he had to go jump out of a plane in the middle of the night to help the soldiers on the beaches of Normandy survive what was going to happen to them? That was a complete absolute travesty and loss of human life on a massive scale.
Yeah, definitely.
And my grandfather took it with stride and did what he had to do. And that's all we can really do in life, is we just got to do what we have to do to provide for our families and to live the best life possible. And sometimes that involves doing things we don't agree with. Like, who the hell wants to work 50, 60-hour work weeks? No one. But I do it on a very regular basis because, I mean, like, gas prices are like practically $6 a gallon. Food is
it's about £2 a litre now here in the UK. I know we do it differently here. It's £2 a litre.
I'm to put it in more numbers on it, like, because I'm a number guy, because that's what I do. Here in at least Maricopa County in the state of Arizona where I live, wages have gone up about 10% since the beginning of the pandemic. Now, when you're sitting there like, oh, 10%, they've gone up. But when the cost of rent has gone up 25%, the cost of housing has gone up 57%, there's a big disparity between wages and being able to pay your bills. Wages are not keeping up with inflation right now. So freaking A, I'm working my ass off just to be able to pay my bills.
No, it's true. It's not a good time at the minute in the world.
Oh, no. And the thing is, I also don't want to say, we're seeing all sorts of craziness all across the world. And that's where, we're not wanting to go down this rabbit hole. We're here on Plastic Platforms to discuss gaming.
I didn't get my, we joked last time when we were talking about the COVID stuff. And I wasn't joking about COVID. The transparency, people. I've seen people get COVID-19 stamps put on their Spotify podcasts, like Joe Rogan and others that have mentioned COVID-19 issues. We were talking about it. I never got my COVID-19 stamp on Spotify. I was slightly disappointed by that.
What's the COVID-19 stamp?
It basically just says that COVID-19 has been mentioned in this episode, please, and click here for more information. Just warning people. That's all. I never got it, just to let you know.
And I try to take it seriously. I'm not going to be somebody that's like, oh, it doesn't exist. I've regrettably known people that have passed away from it. I have friends in the medical industry that deal with it every single day. As a matter of fact, one of my friends right now in the medical industry, really, really cool nurse practitioner. He just contracted it for the first time in actually almost a year or so since he's had it. And he contracted it again, brought it home, gave it to his wife. And we also know Wilmy Hood has actually had his battles with COVID-19. I mean, we can't sit there and we can't sit there and pretend it's not happening.
because BMG's had it recently really bad. Because for a while he actually told me I can't get it, and to be fair, he never got it, and then boom, it hit him. Because he messaged me,
Well,
I was like, I've got it,
and
but
and that's where, viruses are constantly changing and evolving.
they are,
And all
yeah.
it takes is one change of the protein chain that is their DNA makeup, and all of a sudden you have a new strain. And yeah, just because you were resistant to one strain means you're not to another. That, like I said,
Well,
it's a rabbit hole, but that's why we bring up the God of War Ragnarok thing. And that's where I was saying earlier, we can't sit there with a crystal ball and say that, we're going to get to November free and clear and nothing's going to happen. I want that game to release. I'm looking
I
forward to
know.
playing it and buying it, but I'm also not going to be one of these people that are going to hold this game so high on the pedestal of greatness that if it gets delayed, I'm just going to go batshit crazy on the internet.
Oh no, I agree with you. I mean, I think the reason why PlayStation made the decision not to take Starfield's release date is because they don't want it to kick off with the console wars, and I truly believe that's the reason why they didn't pick it. Because although everyone likes it to be a bit of a battle, PlayStation, this is surprising to people. If you are listening, PlayStation and Xbox do have a very good relationship with each other. They do actually get on. I know it's hard for you to all believe, but they get on. And Sony and Microsoft are business partners. Because obviously Sony rents Microsoft Azure space as well, so they are a customer of them, and they have a great partnership. So just to tell people that they do
And,
actually
and,
get on. People think they hate each other, they don't.
and that's
No.
what cracks me up, because in my industry, I actually sometimes literally send customers to my competitor because I am not this predatory animal that is just like, because it's sometimes in my industry takes 8 months to build certain products. And I'm not going to sit there and tell a customer, put your life on hold so you can wait to put your money in my pocket. I would rather help somebody. And I have steered customers to my competition. I have also bought stuff from my competition, and my
Yeah.
competition has done the same for me. Because we're all partners in this world. We're all trying to make it through these crazy times. And especially with the advent of what Google wants to do, what Amazon wants to do, and with monsters like Tencent in the background making
Yeah.
deals that we don't know nothing about, Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo, for that matter, and even your big PC markets, they all need to come together and basically create this cooperation to keep these more predatory companies
Well,
out of the
Microsoft.
situation.
Well, Microsoft actually has done deals with the 10 cent you're on about for mobile, but no one actually knows what the deal's about. It's about mobile gaming,
Right.
and they done a deal with 10 cent. I think that's just to get. I don't know what it is, because basically, if you want to get big in China and regions like that, you have to basically. You won't get nowhere without, because you have to be in a partnership with 10 cent. Because from what I understand, in China, although they've got Apple phones and they've got Android phones, they all use 10 cent's operating system. So what it means is, although it runs on iOS and Android, they all click on the iOS of 10 cent. Um,
And
so although that technically breaches Apple's and Google Play's limits, the rules and regulations. The reason Apple and Google don't say anything is because if they do, chances are Chinese government might say, "Oh, your phones ain't welcome here anymore. Goodbye." So you kind of got to do deals with the devil, ain't you? You got to let it
right, and
slide.
it goes in with the
Yeah,
phrase. I even have this T-shirt in my closet. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
yeah,
And also you have the other one is um keep your friends close but keep your enemies closer.
yeah.
and
That's a
and
big one. That, yeah,
and that's the other one. Yeah. And like, I've been really interested in this whole back and forth between governments, especially when it comes to China. Yeah, even Tencent published a lot of films. Actually, if you want to see that in full swing, go watch the Transformers Bumblebee movie, and you'll see a really cool Tencent logo at the beginning of the movie.
Wow. just as you said that, BMG just put 10 cent publish a lot of films.
No, that's why I just saw that pop up in the chat. That's why I said that. He's right. And that's it's really interesting, this whole situation. If a lot of people didn't realize, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, the FCC chairman of the United States came out and flagrantly, out of his own, he did not have the authority to do what he tried to do. And I chuckled at it. And this is why a lot of people don't even realize this, but they tried to ban TikTok again. He came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and the FCC chairman said, Google and Apple need to remove TikTok from their stores and ban the app outright because of data collection over in China, and because they're not housing the data in the United States. They're already showing that they're trying to migrate all the housing of the data to the United States here. It's obviously a complete shell game, but
yeah, but to be fair, Google knows more about anyone than anyone in the world.
I know. That's why I chuckled at that. I'm like, so we're worried about the data collection from people that do some of the most idiotic things just to get recognition on TikTok. Don't get me wrong. There's really awesome stuff on TikTok, but there's also people very thirsty for attention on TikTok. But I'm like, why are we worried about, subject A over here collecting data when subject B over here, Google, I can't even talk about diapers in earshot of a cell phone without all of a sudden my cell phone starting to display advertisements for diapers on my phone. And then the cookie data gets dropped into the internet and follows me to my home. And all of a sudden there's diaper displays on my computer at home. And I have to laugh at this whole surveillance. Like, well, these guys are allowed to survey you, but these people can't survey you. And it's like, well, what about these guys over here? What happens if they get hacked and my data gets out? I'm already used to the fact that my data is out on the worldwide internet, and I do what I can to basically make it a very convoluted thing to at least surf my data. But it is what it is. We're all in a connected world now. If it's like in the beginning of the show, the Web of Make Believe, which was a really cool documentary series on Netflix, it actually talks about how the world of technology is imperceivable as a fish is to water. Basically, the fish don't recognize water as like, I live in water. That's just their ecosystem that they live in, and they don't perceive it. And that's what's happening with human beings, is we live in this technology driven world with all this technology that is connected, and we are completely imperceivable to exactly what is going on because we're just used to it.
It's true. It's a scary world of this data.
BMG getting something weird going on.
The reason they're not bothered about Google is because it benefits them. The intelligence services have wiretaps into everything, and they probably can't get wiretaps into TikTok. Maybe, I'm not saying they can't, but I'm just saying that maybe the Chinese have got quite tough security. They haven't been able to breach yet. Basically, if TikTok just opened up all their data and gave them it, they'd be like, oh, great, TikTok's amazing.
So at least from what I've read, and according to TikTok's statement, they basically, the whole reason why the FCC chairman freaked out was because there is basically nationalized citizens over in that part of the world that have access to the data users of TikTok, because these guys are the back-end developer for TikTok. They work on TikTok. They keep it running. They keep it functional. They keep the algorithm flowing. So to work on the algorithm, you need to have access to user data. And the FCC chairman came out and be like, well, if they've got access to the user data, that guy right there is going to tell everybody everything. And it's just like, he's an employee. I don't think he's like being debriefed by the government every single day he gets off work.
No. To be fair, I used to take Mickey out of TikTok, but yeah, it's funny that I actually watch more TikTok than I do watch YouTube.
And the thing is, like, people sit there and be like, why watch TikTok? Well, look at like, I'm gonna say right now, I could watch TikTok for about an hour and maybe see a commercial or two, but you have the option to flip your thumb and move on from that commercial.
Straight away.
YouTube, no. For starters, you got to sit there for a few seconds, and you can even hit skip ad, and the minute you skip ad, another ad starts to play. And you're just, it's like commercial hell. And you're just like,
got 10-minute videos now. TikTok's got, there is some 10-minute videos, and people can go live if they want to.
And right,
not normally, the lives ain't normally very interesting. A lot of people sell stuff on TikTok.
Well, actually, some of the best lives I've actually seen are the people that race toy cars on treadmills. I love watching just the tedious stuff. Like, I've watched a guy sculpt wood on TikTok. No pun intended in saying that, but yeah, he was making a wooden statue. There's just some things that you just want to sit there and be like, wow, this is actually really interesting to watch. You know, we've all been there where we've been flipping around on Discovery Channel late at night, and all of a sudden we get stuck on how it's made. Well, hey, guess what? TikTok is the new how it's made.
It is crazy. I mean, I want to bring up a point where we have ventured off it, but
yes.
Ragnarok, I know you wanted to mention some points on that because BMG has mentioned basically about all the dick pics being sent to hang on, Sony Santa Monica.
Oh yeah, you and I had a little bit of a back and forth. We know in the DMs, because I was actually a little mad that they decided to reveal the game, and it had nothing to do with with like, oh, I don't like PlayStation. I'm gonna buy the damn game when it comes out. I'll be there in line to buy it. I'll play it.
Yeah.
But for me, what made me aggravated is you have just given fuel to every single crazy toxic individual on any social media platform that basically that's out in this, like, you know, clapping, yay, we made this happen. That's right, we made this happen. And it's like, honestly, you know, if I would, like, I know this is probably not a very popular opinion, but just to prove a point, I'd be like, well, we were gonna release the date in November, but we're actually going to delay it until January of 2023 to teach you guys a lesson about getting mouthy on the internet. And it'd just be like, and I know everybody would be up in arms going, but that's a small minority. That's a small minority. Why does everybody need to be punished? Well, the funny part is, if we look at how kids go through school, kids are singled out. That's how bullies get basically vindicated in the school systems. And school treats everything on a one-on-one basis, which is very, very wrong. I really do believe if there's a class bully in the classroom, I believe if the class bully acts out, the entire class should be in detention. So that way, the next time that bully wants to start opening his mouth, the other classmates can be like, yo, keep your mouth shut. I'm not going to go through detention again because of you. Otherwise, you can just get out. And you can basically be the town pariah if you want to be an asshole. And like, and everybody, like, where does this come from? Well, from helping people clean their criminal records and dealing with people that have been involved in the criminal justice system, at least with Arizona. In a jail standard, at least through a county facility, when one person starts acting up, they lock the entire pod down. You have what's known as a pod. It's a group of individuals that all live together. They eat together. They bathe together. That's why it's called a pod. And if somebody in your pod starts to act up, they will basically hold the whole pod responsible, and they'll put everybody on lockdown, and everybody loses their telephone privileges and everything else. And that's how they keep control, because the other inmates are like, yo, calm down. I want to be able to call my wife today, and I don't want to deal with you screwing that up. And because we all know they don't respect the guards most of the time, but they'll actually listen to other people of their community, which is their other pod members. And that's basically how it should work is, you know, I know it sucks, but I really do believe this is where we need to approach toxicity from a much broader perspective of we need to start curbing this. And we're starting to see, we saw ACG come out and said he's starting to hear rumors that they're actually going to start moving a lot of gaming chat between the developers and the public to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very, very serious platform. If you get caught on there doing the crap they do on Twitter, you won't exist. Still there? Or am I just randomly bitching? Can you hear me? Well, I don't know if Stubbs can hear me. Hopefully, I haven't drowned out everybody and made them bored already. But yeah, I did. See, that's the only thing. Like, I see what you're saying, BMG. Time to permanently ban accounts, social and gaming. That's the only thing. These guys go and create these different accounts. Some of them run multiple sock accounts to be able to say they think the things they do and the things they want to say. And it's just, I really wonder if it's even possible to do that. It's Stubbsy chasing butterflies. Uh-oh. I hope he didn't lose his connection. I feel like I can hear him clicking. See, and that's where I'm not trying to say everybody needs to suffer for, like, because of a few, but at the same time, this has gone on long enough. I don't like it when you see developers coming out saying that people are sending, shots of their twig and berries to demand the release date. I mean, like, it's very interesting how a lot of people approach social media as this, it's my freedom of speech. And I should be able to say and do what I want. But it's like, if you wouldn't talk to your own mother with that mouth or around your wife with that mouth, why are you saying it to someone else's wife or mother?
Sorry about that. Something needed a drink. I didn't know what to do. It's cold now. Cheers, BMG, for talking to Centurion while that happened.
So how was the butterfly chasing?
Butterfly chasing?
BMG said Stubbsy chasing butterflies.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, I mean, things it's very interesting. I never thought that gaming was this. I got into doing gaming content and doing the social media thing for gaming because I wanted to meet more people that enjoyed gaming. I'll be absolutely honest. Where I work, no one is like me. I don't have anybody to discuss games with. That's why I come here to do this. And I just never thought in 100 million years when I got here that we would be at the era that we are now, where you either give me what I want or else. And I mean, and that's really
the problem is, right, is governments. I have a thing about social. You're on about social media, right? And as well, there is governments that are pushing for, say like your Twitter account, for you to actually reveal your real identity to them, and instead of being under an alias. See, I'm actually against all of that. I like anonymity online. But obviously with Xbox, see, if they can link, see, if you read into the terms of service of Xbox and PlayStation, you'll probably find there's some stuff in it you probably didn't realise there was. Like, for instance, say, if you say something racist or something, but if you were to say that on Twitter and then they linked it back to your account, they could potentially ban your account or suspend you for a time period. I bet you there's loads of that stuff written in. You ain't got a clue that it's there, but it's proving that you're that. It's proving you're that person. But there's a fine line, you see. That's why a lot of it's not happening. You see, it won't happen until the governments regulate.
So I obviously will sit there and say that demanding somebody reveals, it's a slippery slope, a very fine line when you deal with the concept of anonymity. because people like to use anonymity to do very, very heinous things. We see some very, very toxic cultures rise out of nobody knows who we are, but this is our belief system. And I'm not going to bring up these systems because I mean, some of these are, we're talking about groups of individuals that believe in the violation of supreme human rights. And they do it because they believe that they're the superior race, the better species. When, in my opinion, we're all just human beings of different creeds, religions, colors. And that's where we all need to be respectful to one another. And it really hurts me when literally you see people doing stupid, idiotic things over a plastic box. I mean, how do you think the husbands feel of some of these women that were sent these pictures? That, I'm going to say right now, if somebody sent my wife a picture of their autonomy, I would want to find this dude and probably kick his ass. And no, go on and say what you were wanting to say.
No, it's no, I fully agree with you. It should be, see, if you were to say that if that was a requirement of Xbox or PlayStation to say you have to link your socials and it's a requirement to have an Xbox account, you'd find that all these people that are being dickheads would soon stop, because although you say, yeah, you can make new Xbox accounts, right? True. But like, say you've got a big library like you have, Centurion, and like, say BMG, it's in chat, and me as well. Well, once you lose that account, you lost all them hundreds of games that you owned. Gone. Right. So there's quite a big risk to doing it. I'm not saying they would ever do this, by the way. It's a theory. People would change their minds on how much of a dickhead they are online.
And that's what cracks me up, because like the culture that I come from, I think it's very interesting that there's a lot of people on social media, these keyboard warriors, that think they don't do a damn thing wrong because all they are is flexing their freedom of speech. When it's like, no, wishing somebody to die is threatening.
That's a crime. Dick pics.
Oh yeah,
violence, etc. Technically speaking,
and
a lot of police forces don't take it seriously, but some of them do, and some people have been arrested over it.
Well, we're also talking about, like, let's take the individual that Netflix covered that got someone killed over $1.50 bet because he had their house SWAT teamed. Like, literally, we saw an innocent man lose his life that wasn't even involved because these three teenagers had a falling out over $1.50 bet. And we've come to find out that this guy that was swatting people did it habitually for years, over and over and over and over again. He did it to schools, shot multiple schools, went after news agencies. This dude even went after the freaking FCC during their net neutrality meetings and had the FCC cleared out over a bomb threat. Now, that was the threat. They didn't take it seriously until the FCC had it happen to him. And that's where it's just like, really? And it was all because of anonymity. Like, the guy, when you actually listen to the interview, he regrets it now, but he's like, when I first started, I didn't have a care in the world. I didn't even think I was going to get caught because of anonymity. And it's just really interesting how these individuals go on social media and do these things that would actually land people in jail. And then they actually get all butthurt and crybaby over the repercussions, when there is people every single day that would just love to have a good job, or would love to be able to move their family into a decent apartment complex or a nice, beautiful rented home. But because years and years and many moons ago, they were convicted of some crime that, like, I'm talking like here in Arizona, marijuana is still a felony. So in certain situations, you could become a felon for marijuana, even though it's legalized here recreationally. But if you get that felony behind your name, woo, You could kiss off living in a nice neighborhood, having a good job, and a multiple other repercussions, all because of something you did. And now, why is it that these keyboard warriors think that the rules should not apply to them?
No, I agree with you. It's yeah, it's a hard. Yeah,
You know, and that's why I was like, what made me feel better was when Cory Barlog
because I remember
came out.
I sorry, but I had a friend once. I don't back when he used to play Black Ops. I think it was 3, and he sent a stupid tweet to an executive at Call of Duty, basically because the servers were crap and they kept crashing. Well, I said, you fucking delete that cunting tweet now. You have the fucking Homeland Security at your front door. He didn't. We all were giving him shit. He deleted it. You're lucky that they didn't turn up at your front door. He said one of the most stupidest comments he ever could have made. You know, you don't go tweeting people saying, "I'm gonna, you deserve to have your head chopped off and shit like that." Yeah, we were like, "You'll get arrested for that." And all sorts, and he deleted it, and then luckily nothing ever happened. But he never done it again. Like, you can't say stuff like that. That's a real threat. You know,
Yeah, and that's where you can protest professionally, you can give criticism, but you can't be threatening, derogatory, or any of that, because then what you're trying to get across just gets lost at that point.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and VMG
mental.
And that Cory, and so that's where I'm trying to keep these people want to put others down in check. I don't know exactly everything with Cory Barlog. I don't follow him 100%. But I did like the fact that Cory Barlog came out and flat out said, using the F word, that this is absolutely effing unacceptable and doing this is wrong and all this other stuff. And then you had to see all these stupid ass comments on Cory Barlog. Like at Cory Barlog, basically people saying, well, you're using the F word with us, and so therefore you're nothing better than these guys. And it's like, whoa, this is a man who leads a team, who sees his team members as practically a second family, and you guys just sexually harassed and threatened his family. He has every right in the world to be dropping an F-bomb on you guys to at least get you guys to understand the gravity of the situation. So and then you see these other people that come in. We're not going to name them. We know who you are, but at this time, you guys have proven you are absolutely some of the biggest losers on social media, on saying, oh, these developers, they work for us, so it's their fault that this is happening because they get us all hyped up for a game. It's all their fault. So you're telling me that no one is allowed to hype the product that they've worked years and years for to get everybody excited for this product, but because they couldn't deliver it on time, that is a reason to violate their rights?
Yeah, it's not good. Like BMG says, you never get this in films, but you might not get it in. I don't know. I bet you probably do get it in films, because if you ever see the DC guys versus the Marvel guys in videos and comment sections, I bet you that they do send some crazy shit to in movie industry. You just don't hear about it. Guarantee you do.
Oh, it is. And it's also starting to get a little bit, it's starting to also go all over the place, because we see, movie studios wanting to interject a lot of today's issues into movies. And obviously people from both sides of the argument see this, and one side is like, yay, that's right, it's finally in film, and the other half is like, oh my god, I can't believe this, it's absolutely disgusting that they put this in a movie. And then we just watch it just unfold on social media, when it's like, literally, you just want to be like, you just want to sit there with like a doll in front of the world and be like, can somebody please point on the doll where having a difference of opinion or a different lifestyle or a different set of choices affects you? Exactly. And I say that because I suffer from horrible allergies, and I actually have to wear particulate matter masks. I actually have a face mask that has a built-in air purifier on the side of it for my job. My boss bought it for me because of what I go through. And
That's nice
to
of him.
this
That
day, I still have people that feel insulted that I'm wearing a mask, and they basically throw a whip at me. They're like, "Oh, you're wearing a mask. You one of these people that believe that COVID's a real thing." And then I have to be like, "Yo, dude, all right, for starters, be quiet. We don't want to get on the COVID train. I actually have bad allergies, and if I inhale too much dust, my nose starts to bleed. Who the hell are you to judge me because I'm wearing a mask? You have no idea what I go through. You're not living my life. You don't have my issues. So please do the rest of the world favor and keep your mouth shut."
Exactly, that's true. That is. Welcome to the Graphic God. Thanks for popping in, Jay. Welcome.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not trying to go down this road of bitching.
But yeah, it's mental how it's all
right.
going.
And I'm excited for God of War. I mean, let's talk about the positives here. We're going to see another iteration of Cory Barlog's God of War. For me,
hang on.
What?
Cory Barlog hasn't made the new God of War. Just so you know that, okay?
Who did the last one?
He did 2018. I believe what Cory Barlog is now, because he's so synonymous with God of War. I believe he's worked on the game, but he's not his baby like 2018's was.
Well,
I believe that he is like the figurehead. You know, the face of the company, social media.
Basically, he's Sony's Vince Zampella.
Yeah,
and that's where
for that studio. Yeah.
Yes, he's Sony Santa Monica's Vince Zampella, and that's where, for me, that's why I call it Cory Barlog's God of War, because the reason why I say this is because I was not a fan of the hack and slash God of War that was back in the day on the PS2 and the PS3. I'll be upfront. I am trying my hardest right now to play Devil May Cry. I bought the collection. I even got part 5. I want to enjoy the story. I'm there for the story, but I will say it right now. I have no intention of sitting there and playing that game repetitiously for its hack and slash mechanics. But I'm not. That's where when I was discussing this with a person at work the other day, I was telling her about my experiences with God of War from 2018. And she is completely mind blown because she's like, whoa, wait a minute. God of War is what? Because she thought it was a hack and slash. You run around chopping stuff up. Kratos is screaming, fighting the gods. We all know the story of Kratos, the destroyer. Yeah. And that's where, when I told her, I'm like, well, this dude, Cory Barlog, decided to remake it. With Sony's help, they wanted to have a new vision for God of War. And
once they got told they didn't like the vision that they had, they had to go back to the drawing board and change it. Because did you watch Raising Kratos? Did you watch that documentary?
And that's where Sony even wanted change. But that's where, how as the game director, you want to try to stay true to the original.
It's hard. It's like everyone moans about Gears. How do you change Gears? It's a difficult one, but they nailed it.
That's my opinion.
But I can't say they nailed it because I wasn't playing God of War previous, and I've only played a little bit of God of War, but they won loads of awards. Everyone raves about it, so they must have done something right.
I enjoy Gears of War 4. I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought the robots were a nice touch. Everybody got mad at the robots. Well, if you want
the robots,
you wanted new enemy types. Well, you can't exactly just have the Horde come back willy-nilly out of nowhere. You got to build that up to it, and you got to have some kind of a protagonist to actually give the heroes something to fight before you can get to the Horde. So, hey, guess what? An out-of-control government with robotic warriors. There you go. I thought it was a nice touch. I enjoyed Gears 4. I enjoyed Gears 5. I'm looking forward to Gears 6. And this is where I really do say that, game directors and companies should be able to change something. And sometimes it might not be the greatest thing. Other times it can really make a game really kind of advance even further in its lore. And I feel that God of War now has hit more of a tone for me, because I actually enjoyed the story of Kratos and Atreus and this whole father and son bonding while trying to save the world and understand, and helping Atreus come to terms with he's the son of a god of war, and that's why he has these aggressions and all this other stuff. And like when I was explaining this to the chick at work who grew up on the original God of War trilogy, and she's like, I need to get a PlayStation. I need to see this because this sounds really interesting. And like literally, like at first when you discussed God of War, we just run around beating stuff up. But now that she found out that there's a huge story element, she actually wants to go out and get God of War 2018 and start playing it on her husband's PS4 just to check this out because she had no idea this is what it became. And like, I mean, dude, there's more reasons that I love God of War. Christopher Judge, awesome actor, the actor who played Teal'c in Stargate SG-1. He's able to be Kratos. He even said in Raising Kratos that being able to play Kratos in God of War reinvigorated his love for acting because he was ready to tap out. He didn't want to be an actor anymore. And then he found a new love for it in basically stop motion animation and also being able to voice these characters in the games.
That's good. That is, it's good. BMG just said God of War has time travel.
Well, so did Quantum Break, and everybody for some reason didn't. Everybody hated Quantum Break because apparently it was a movie / game and not just a game. I enjoyed the hell out of Quantum Break, and I loved the story and the concept that game had. Did you ever play Quantum Break?
No.
Dude, you need to go and play that because that game is actually founded in so much science. It's not right. The idea of creating a gravitational field and walking down a corridor, because basically when you first start playing the game, you get to see the machine before they start screwing with everything. And they even make you go through and power the machine up to understand what is going on. And they've built this hallway around the device that creates the gravitational pull, kind of like similar to a black hole. And depending on how long it takes you to walk through the corridor and how much of and whether you're going clockwise through the corridor or counterclockwise, because it's a circular hallway walking around this device, you actually can go forward or backwards through time. And it's just really, really this crazy concept of, does the act of trying to stop the end of the world create the end of the world?
I don't know. I've not completed
it. Watch it with the movie, but that's where it got really cool when you actually see like that main protagonist that is always hunting the main character. And it's like when you actually get into the story and you're like, why is this dude trying to stop the guy from saving the world? Because he's convinced that he's the source of the end of the world and he's trying to protect his family. And you're seeing these two individuals who literally are both fighting the same fight, which is protect your family, protect everybody. But because of the difference of opinions, they do not see eye to eye.
It's interesting that.
Anyways, but now let's talk about that trailer that you hit me up on, Skull and Bones.
Oh, if PMG's you'll get PMG started, you will, because it like when it was first announced, something like 5 years
now
ago.
Now you're talking the one you wanted me to watch, by the way, is this one that is like mostly like
yeah, you got to watch out for the actual gameplay bits because they hid the gameplay bits.
Yeah, it's basically like mostly cinema and basically CG'd. And that's where I was just like, man, there's not really a huge amount of gameplay per se.
There's a reason for it. It is there. It looks terrible. You
Yes.
see it.
What do you think this game is going to do?
I think perform, or I think will it be a good game?
Whatever. Do you think it's going to be a good game, a bad game? You think it's going to sell horribly? Do you think people are interested?
Well, I want to know why you'd think it was a good idea to release a £70 game the day before God of War, and in a window where Call of Duty, Overwatch 2, it's going to be free, and all these big games are coming out. I want to know who actually thought Ubisoft this would be a good idea. A bit miffed there, I am.
I'm going to be honest. I really wonder if Ubisoft doesn't care. I'm wondering if they just want this game to excuse the expression. I feel like they just want this game to get murked and disappear. I feel like this game has been steeped in development hell. It is basically taking the game mechanics from a game that was popular at the beginning of the Xbox One era with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And that's where, like, excuse the pun, but maybe the ship has already sailed for this game, because we're taking the game mechanic from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That game has came, went, and the enjoyment is gone. And now we're trying to somehow reinvigorate something that should have came out years ago.
Yeah, because even like BMG was saying, he says he loved Skull and Bones originally, when it was announced years ago. But once they showed off the game this time round, it looks and plays awful. Assassin's Creed Black Flag plays and looks better, as he's a big Assassin's Creed fan, and for a game that was a launch title, to say that for about a game that's coming out in 2022, a launch title of the PlayStation 4, I think it was, an Xbox One probably, around that time, that's really bad for a game that was, and we've got a game that's coming out in 2022.
And the other thing I'm worried about is how many of us are going to get into this game and be like, oh my God, this is a more realistic Sea of Thieves. Like, this reminds me of Sea of Thieves. That reminds me of Sea of Thieves. And it's more like, yeah, I'm seeing the actual gameplay now, like the actual walking around. And I really do not hope that these guys went and basically used Sea of Thieves as a concept of, well, what can we do with this? We have a really great game mechanic that everybody loved, but we have no idea what to do with it. Let's go watch what happened with Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, they I don't even think they kind of have, because Sea of Thieves is more of a co-op experience, as you know, and you actually have your own crew members on this, and you have to keep them happy, and you have to keep your teammates happy. These are just not; these ain't human. I mean, they ain't players behind them; they're actually AI. It's I don't know if they have looked at Sea of Thieves, because
I don't know.
I think that like you say, I think the ship may have sailed.
I think they're going to try to compete with Sea of Thieves, because Sea of Thieves is honestly the only.
I'll be honest, Centurion, if they want to do that, they're going to have to just bring it out free to play and give it to everyone for free if they want to. That's I can't see releasing it at £70. I know the new standard is It's becoming 70 quid now, so $70. But Sea of Thieves was never $70. I believe it was only ever 15, 20 quid. It was never an expensive game to buy.
You want like a little off the rails thought that I have about this game? I really, because of Ubisoft and their desire to test the grounds of games as a service and this free-to-play model, we've seen Ubisoft come out and say that they have partnerships with PlayStation, they have partnerships with Xbox. I'm wondering if they're going to put this in Game Pass and Sony's subscription service, PS Now.
Oh, that. Potentially. I don't know.
And
Microsoft. I don't actually think Microsoft will be pleased by that because it's like their game. Well, it's not like their game, but it's the same kind of genre thing.
right, but we have seen lately Ubisoft games have popped up in Game Pass, and in my opinion, it may, if I know Phil Spencer and if I was over at the table over at Microsoft Game Studios, I would say let it be in the service, because there's no effing way that this game holds weight to Sea of Thieves. Like, the water effects alone are not on the caliber that Sea of Thieves has going on.
No, I agree. It doesn't look very good at all.
Well, yeah, like in the gameplay right here, I just saw something dip into the water and it didn't affect the water in any
and
way. It
apparently,
basically it clipped into the water.
that's the thing. You can't jump. From what I understand, you can't jump. I see a Thieves, you could just jump in the water. You can't do that bit. It does it for you. It's not a bit you can do. I don't think.
What do you mean it does it for you?
No, I don't. BMG might be able to help in chat. I don't think. You know how Sea of Thieves, you do it yourself. You can jump off the board, mess about like what I do, jump off the board, chuck people off board, stuff like that. I don't think the actual getting on the boat process you can do yourself. I think the game does it for you.
Interesting.
I might be completely wrong. Someone correct me if I am wrong. But,
so that's actually something I do when I play Sea of Thieves with my friends, because of just how aggressive I can play from playing online multiplayers. My friends that play Sea of Thieves with me that don't play online multiplayer very heavily, when we start getting chased by other people that want to start ruining the fun, that's when I'm like, hey, take over the boat. I'm jumping off this thing for a second. When you see me, when you basically see me out in the middle of the ocean, will you please come pick me back up? And the funny part is, I will literally sneak onto these guys' boats and go down into the bottom of the boat and basically start pretty much screwing with their boat and sinking it while they're chasing my friends in our boat. And then when they realize I'm downstairs, they start trying to come downstairs, and then you got the blunderbuss and you just start blowing them away, and they're stuck in the world of the afterlife waiting to respawn, and you're basically sinking their damn boat. And it's all because it's like, yeah, you guys didn't know, like, I'm crazy enough to jump off my boat and land in the water and wait for you to go by and catch onto your boat.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, BMG just give you some advice. Don't play Sea of Thieves with Stubbs.
I enjoy playing Sea of Thieves. It's actually one of the few games my wife enjoys to play. And that's why I don't like it when you see these, like, yeah, like, oh, it's Sea of Thieves. It's a pirates game. You're supposed to screw with people. Yeah, but screw with people that literally look like they instigate it. But I mean, like, if you're a team of 4 and you're chasing down a sloop of 2 people, that's just, you're just basically at this time just basically a screwed up individual who just needs to go find something else to do in the game. Like, just because a game has a mechanic in it that allows you to screw with people doesn't mean you're supposed to use that mechanic to a god awful sense to where people don't want to play the game anymore. That's why a lot of people turn off crossplay on Sea of Thieves, because the PC players just have nothing better to do with their time than, like, for them, Sea of Thieves is just floating around screwing with people. They don't go get treasure. They don't follow the riddles. They don't do any of the other game mechanics that have been put into Sea of Thieves. They just go around and screw with people.
Yeah, no, it's I've only played it a few times, to be honest, and every time I played it, it is fun. But I do mess about. It's like I kept chucking bombs at BMG. He's sinking the boat, but
Yes. I've had my fun with playing toxic. Well, I don't even try to play toxically. For me, it's more like when my friends are down below having fun, laughing, gathering treasure. I'm always up in the crow's nest up top looking for the other half of the equation, which is the actual true pirates of the game. And it's just like, I remember, like, with what is it? The Division and the Dark Zone. That the Dark Zone was something that the creators wanted people to have to create a very, very interesting game element, because you would have people that would go rogue. But then when the game developers realized that they were doing this way too often, that's when they started creating the rogue mechanics, where if you started doing it habitually, you would have a bounty put on you, and then people can see you on the map. They basically, again, going back to being anonymous, they removed your anonymity. Now, all of a sudden, you're a blip on the radar with a skull that lets everybody in the area know there's an a-hole running around and he's on this street. And by the way, if you kill him, you'll get a bonus. And all of a sudden, the hunter becomes the hunted.
Yeah, that's good. Good idea, that is.
So, but no, you want my honest opinion? I want to check out Skull and Bones, but I'm not going to, obviously, like you say, pay $70 for it. If I was to buy it, I would really have to first watch a lot of reviews on the game of people that were actively playing the game. Like, I remember when Atlas first came out, I wanted to check out Atlas, but then when I found out Atlas was a complete buggy mess, and that the game mechanics didn't work properly, and that it was also just really, really more like a survival game, I pretty much gave up on Atlas. I didn't get invested into Atlas. I never even bought it. I'm hoping Skull and Bones actually has a little bit more weight than Atlas, because I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not going to play a game because the graphics aren't up to snuff. I mean, I just got done recently playing what's it called? Ghostbusters, the video game, an Xbox 360 title. I mean,
Nice.
I was making fun of the destruction mechanics in that game the whole time I was playing, because literally you could blow something up and a chunk of it would land in front of your character, and now you're stuck, and you have to basically turn on the portion of the proton pack that allows you to grip items and move them out of the way. And you literally had to move a chunk of a bookcase out of your way, because the destruction mechanic of the game pretty much wouldn't allow your character, like, basically it interfered with gameplay. You sometimes had to move the pieces you were blowing up out of your way because your character could not traverse over them.
That's crazy. That is.
Yeah. What do you think? I'm not trying to be all talky.
No. I won't even play. I won't even play the game, to be fair. I won't. Even if it comes to Game Pass, I won't bother.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Pirate's Life isn't the Pirate's Life isn't for you?
Not really. No, I won't try it.
I do think it's interesting that they don't, like, so you can't jump in the water, but are you able to jump from boat to boat, or is that an animation as well?
I don't know, but from what I heard, what people have been saying, that you can't do that. But I might be wrong on that. I might be wrong. I might have heard something wrong. It might be about a different game. I might have got mixed up.
That might be interesting, because we've seen the mechanic used in Black Flag, which was the birth of it. Then we saw it get used in Assassin's Creed Origins. And finally, I really feel it got its perfection in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, when you were able to ram the boats and break them in half, upgrade the boat. You were able to jump over onto the boats and take out the commanding officer, and like the other crew members on that boat would surrender because their commanding officer just got assassinated. That would be really interesting if somehow some of the game mechanics are stripped down, considering Ubisoft was the ones that kind of created these mechanics.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not someone who's high on the Ubisoft. I don't really play Assassin's Creed. I don't play Division. I don't play a lot of their games, because a lot of their games are cookie cutter. They're cookie cutter, copy and paste, and BMG won't agree with that at all. But a lot of their shooters just look the same. It's like Division and Ghost Wildlands and all. Them shooting games, they all look the same.
Yeah, I'll say right now, the Division, anything Tom Clancy or Ghost Recon, they're in bed with each other. I mean, like these two concepts are constantly having hybrid versions of each other that share a lot of similarities. We all know the idea of Far Cry climbing to the tower and synchronizing at the top of the tower and having the world spin, and all of a sudden all these map icons unlock. That was a very shared thing between Assassin's Creed games and Far Cry games. I remember when Far Cry 5 came out and they had you climb to the first thing they did is have you climb to the top of a tower, and they actually made fun of. They're like, oh, well, we're not going to make you climb to the top of a tower every single time in this game, blah, blah, blah. It was even a joke for them. I'm not going to fault somebody for having a game mechanic that they fall in love with, because we see PlayStation has their love of game mechanics as well. Third person, over the shooter, story driven cinematic experiences. They all love to climb on walls, push boxes, crafting mechanics. It just, there is a little bit of sharedness when it comes to concepts that these game companies like to reuse in different games. But for me, it's the unique. How do you reuse? For me, it's more like the story that makes it unique, and that's what I love about Far Cry games. Like, I remember when Far Cry 6 came out, everybody's like, oh my God, it's just more Far Cry. Well, is that a bad thing? Like, is that wrong to say that a Far Cry game is more Far Cry? Like, what would you rather have it be? Would you want them to all of a sudden turn Far Cry into Wildlands or The Division? So at least Far Cry is more Far Cry. From now, I will definitely say Ubisoft is getting themselves in some hot water, which would obviously bring us to, like, kind of starting off on the next topic. Ubisoft is starting to remove content from people. They're starting to remove DLC. They're shutting down servers to single player games, which is always, why does a single player game need a server? There is a lot of things going on right now with Ubisoft and the direction of the company. And I'm very curious what Ubisoft is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years, and the concepts of their games and the type of consumer that they're going to try to attract to their ecosystem, because we all know that they're wanting to go down this road of games as a service and everything is online. And I really don't know how to feel the direction that Ubisoft wants to go with their games.
No, you're right. It's they want to be
the next DA.
Live service though, do they? I don't know if they can do it. They've got to provide real value, even if they're free to play. They've got to provide a great game with great service and great support and a whole roadmap of content. They've got to have it full on to be successful, because you're competing against the next live service game. It's like, I think all live service games should use how not to do a live service game is show everyone what Halo Infinite did. That should be a ground piece to show people not what to do, because it's a bad move. Halo. I don't even think Freethought actually research what live service games even do. The most basic thing of when you buy a season pass, from what I gather, is if you complete the season pass, they give you enough points to rebuy the season pass next season. They weren't doing that. A lot of things they could have researched from Fortnite and Apex Legends and stuff like that, they didn't even do that. So there is this theory out there that was Halo Infinite meant to be a live service game? As in, was it really? Or did they just cop that live service on when they realised that the game wasn't going to be ready? and then they flip the script to, and let's go with a live service game because then we can make excuses left, right, and centre, and everyone will be fine with it. You see what I mean? It's I don't hate to bring Halo. I don't know if the franchise is done for. I really don't know why the problems going on. I'm not going to bring up the allegations that were made with certain employees there, but because no one knows if they're real, they're alleged. It sounds like really, really bad, and it's making Microsoft look really bad, and the Xbox brand really bad. I don't know what to say, but sorry, go back onto Ubisoft. I think the future is they just want to be free to play based. I just think they want loads of free to play games and make billions in the process. But it's not that simple. You can't capture that Fortnite hype, even though that Fortnite hype's been going for a long time. You've got to do it right, and it's not simple. And so there's only so many games out there that are willing to try something new because basically, if someone plays your game, you're taking them away from another game. So you just got to provide value and content, and even if it's a free to play game, you've got to offer value or what is perceived value just playing the game, and a roadmap for content. To be honest,
you got to have content, but also that's the other problem is, for starters, I know there's a free to play aspect of Fortnite, but Fortnite is not a free to play game. Fortnite Battle Royale is a free to play mode where the actual game Fortnite, the Save the World campaign, is still locked behind a paywall. There's always been talks of them wanting to make that mode free to play as well, but they've never brought that across the finish line. I feel and that's where I feel the PvE experience of Fortnite is actually really fun to me. And it's really tragic that experience is locked behind a paywall because, you know, I know a lot of people that would prefer to play a PvE experience versus a PvP experience. And this is coming from an Elder Scrolls Online player. I did come out and actually say on TXR last night, we went and checked. I got my first achievement in Elder Scrolls Online in 2016. That is games as a service. Yep. Obviously, you got to pay your barrier of entry to get in. There is a lot of monetization. There's a lot of paywalls, but these paywalls are not in your face. You know, if you want to go to that area of the map and that area of the map happened to be a game expansion outside of the original game, yeah, there's a paywall there. The developers had to work and create that area. Just because you spent your $60 when that game first came out doesn't mean you should be able to get that area. The average expansion for that game costs about $40, and that $40 gives you an add-on that will last you pretty much the entire year. They release their first expansion about June of every year, and about 4 months later, they release the second expansion to cap off the year, and everybody plays it until June of next year. And in that world of Elder Scrolls Online, the PvP mode is either A, in a completely different region of the map. You need to go into your user interface and actually request to go into this area of the world. And that, like, PvP only takes place in these certain areas. And the outside of these areas, it's called dueling. And when you do dueling, you have to walk up to another character and request, hey, I would like to duel you. I have it happen all the time, but obviously I don't oblige them. I most of the time decline them because, you know, when you basically duel somebody and if you lose, it affects your equipment and then you got to go repair your equipment and bring it back up. You're actually wasting resources. So I don't duel. The only reason why people like the duel is because it's an XP grind. Hey, if you know what, if you want to go XP grind, go to the PvP area, have your fun with the other PvP players, but don't bring that crap in here. And like I have had a very fun experience playing Elder Scrolls Online, but I haven't partaked very heavily in the PvP aspect of the game. Games as a service can work. Fortnite, if you look at how many times Fortnite has had to evolve. Is the original, like, if I'm right, the Battle Royale map is not the same map as when it first came out. I think it's completely different at this point, right?
I have no idea, but I would say they probably have changed it. Yeah.
And now basically is that what we're expecting out of?
That they are the company that are so clever because they innovate. Like, even they've got, like, it doesn't seem like they are, but they are. That they are very fast to patch things. They're very, because Fortnite's still in the Battle Royale mode is still in people. It's still in beta, and I think it will remain in beta because in beta patches, etc., cheaper, and you can release them faster. But the cleverest thing I think is when they ended, when they end the seasons now, they turn the game off, don't they? Have you seen it with the kids going crazy online?
Mm-hmm.
Have you not seen it?
Oh no, I've seen it. That's
hilarious.
They just
turn it off. They leave it on a screen, and that's it. Because the first time I've done it, they made people believe that it'd been hacked or something. They didn't tell nobody, did they? It's ended.
No, yeah, the world ended. Black hole.
But that was clever. But it was pissing people off, but it worked. It gained more hype because of it.
And God, go play a different game. Touch some grass. You know, like you're gonna cry. Exactly. Like, you know, Elder Scrolls Online has their servers taken down every couple of months. As a matter of fact, I went through one the other night as I was playing. The system messenger popped up on my screen, and it's right in the middle of your screen. You cannot miss this. It says scheduled server maintenance takes place in 1 hour. Finish up what you're doing and get the hell out of here in 1 hour because we're gonna flip the switch.
That's exactly transparent. Well, because PlayStation used to take their servers off all the time, didn't they? To upgrade maintenance, they used to actually put the servers down, didn't they? Am I wrong? I'm sure they used to take the servers down to upgrade PlayStation.
Oh yeah, they would do. All of them have to do maintenance.
But I don't remember the only advantage being down for maintenance very often.
Well, that's because Xbox has the Azure system. They have data centers all over the world, and those data centers can actually help, you know, funnel some of the stuff, you know. But obviously when you shut down one group of servers and you try to get another group of servers spun up to help, you're still going to have latency and lag and all that other fun stuff with slow rates of service because they're not using the normal servers.
Yeah. Well, it is a good thing that they're using Microsoft Azure. That is the benefit to them not just being a games company or a hardware developer. They own everything, don't they? Microsoft.
Well, they don't own everything, especially when it comes to licensing games.
Well, nearly. No.
Right?
Out of all the companies, they have literally got technology and everything.
Oh, they're more diversified for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole
right. That was a nice transition.
Thing.
Go on, transition.
How about you go ahead and tell everybody?
So, from what I understand, there was a letter sent to certain users via their emails for Xbox Live, and apparently, when you get the Games with Gold service, they're no longer going to be providing Xbox 360 games are going to transition to giving you Xbox One titles instead, because I think they've run out of games they can give you. Apparently.
Well, I also think that developers are not allowing them to continue, because when you got a game through Xbox Gold, the 360 titles, that game was yours to keep, even if you get rid of your Gold subscription.
That's
all
true.
The 360 titles, they were giving you the license for the game. It wasn't a rental thing. Where Xbox One titles and basically anything provided with games with Gold that was an Xbox One game or newer had the stipulation of you have to keep your subscription active to be able to use these games. I really think a lot of developers now are wanting to use the premise of, here we could put our games in Game Pass now. We don't need to use games with Gold to get our game out there. And I really do feel that games with Gold is becoming antiquated.
Yeah, it's, to be honest, I mean, when you look at even PlayStation Plus, even their offerings of the lowest package outweigh what you get on Games with Gold. Games with Gold is crap. Even on PlayStation Plus, most months PlayStation Plus put out better games than Games with Gold. They just do. But even people I know that have been critical of PlayStation do say that they just give you better games with Games with Gold, with PlayStation Plus. I'm on about the normal tier, you pay for online, the basic tier. And they have done for a long time. And I don't know why Xbox have dragged it out this long. And I don't know what to say to you, really. Maybe that is their excuse, that they run out of games to give you.
We saw some duplicate titles, like I believe Torchlight just came up for the second time. We've seen some other games given away twice. But over the years, there's also been some good titles come out, like Lost Planet. What is the other ones? Dead Space. There has been some decent titles that come out of the Games with Gold program.
Yeah, but not many in recent times, really. There's not a lot there. There isn't really anymore. But hopefully with Xbox One, they've got so much variety now to give people. They have. Hopefully things should start getting better soon. I mean, BMG's just said the T's and C's have always stated that games and services are subject to change, and digital content can be pulled or stopped at any time. And we all agree to this when we have access to the store. Clearly, the purpose of purpose to get everyone onto Game Pass is to move people over to Game Pass. I don't know if that's going to work, because there's a lot of people that are quite happy to just have the basic tier to play online. You got to remember, you got people that just play Call of Duty online. They play FIFA. They're not really interested, to be honest, in Game Pass. And they never seem to release some stats, but I guarantee there's still more people on Gold than there is on Game Pass. It will be because it's, if you only play one or two games a year, and even if Call of Duty comes to, if the deal goes through next year, where they buy Activision Blizzard, that wouldn't even be enough for some people, because if you just play Call of Duty as all you play, £120 a year is very expensive to play one game. Some people are just set in their ways. They don't want to try more games. It's just the way they are. And that is just the way it is. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But
I'm glad you brought up the $120 thing.
Yeah.
I said it last night on TXR.
It's great value, but if you just play one game, it's not going to be value for you.
Well, if we really think about it, currently, $10 a month gets you a handful of free games through Games with Gold and all that other stuff. I came out on TXR last night and said, at this point, the writing is on the wall. When they tried the price hike of Xbox, the subscription, like the Xbox Gold service price hike that we all know everybody lost their minds over. The writing has been on the wall since that day, that we know that Microsoft wants to funnel people into the Game Pass subscription.
So why don't they just? And that's what I don't get. Right, fair enough. Xbox Live Gold, it's the cheapest tier. So simply just turn Xbox Live Gold, get rid of it, and anyone who's signed up to Gold for X amount of years, just give them the basic console version and keep it that low price, and eventually the people will migrate, everyone will be on it. It's not difficult. Just change it to say it's changing, but don't worry, not losing service, and you'll still get your value for money. Don't put the price up, and that is how you transition the people.
Now that's where I feel, because the price hike, because people wanted to say you can't raise the price on it. I really feel at this point they're going to devalue the service. I really foresee them in the future stopping giving away games for free altogether. And basically you pay your $10 a month to have access to online multiplayer. If that's all you want is online multiplayer, you're going to pay for it at a high premium. Or you could go to Game Pass Ultimate, and for $5 extra a month, you could get blank. I really do feel that they are going to remove the free games over time from Gold, because Gold no longer fits their business strategy. Gold is no longer suits Microsoft in what they're trying to do with the game industry. And at this point, I really feel that games with at least the free games with Gold altogether do not fit what Microsoft is trying to do. And I just really feel like, if you guys aren't going to let us raise the price, we're just going to devalue it and make it to where this is all you get.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I can. But as for making the service expensive, if you just want to play online, they should drop that eventually, because they've made it clear what they want to be. They want the subscription model, and people pay for the games. You shouldn't pay for online, really. But
why? Because PC doesn't?
Because console gamers have always paid for online. Saying that, though, I say that Xbox gamers have always paid for online. PlayStation didn't introduce it until the PlayStation 4.
Right, but we had this discussion on TXR last night. During the PS3 era and during the Xbox 3 era, you had to pay about $5 to play online on an Xbox, where it was free on PlayStation. And we all saw what you get for free. Can't change your name. It was held together by duct tape and bubble gum. You could see a night and day difference between the two platforms, and the platform that charged $5 had a much better optimized and safer ecosystem for your data. I have never been one of these people to champion, give it to me for free. But I also want my data protected. I don't want hackers. I don't want people to be able to mod the game and put in bots and all these aim bots and all this other stuff. I want. And meanwhile, it's like, okay, you're giving me a long list of wants, but can you pay me to do? Oh, I don't want to pay for it. Really? And we're all, the people on PC is the Wild West for hacking. Some of the most craziest stuff you will ever see take place in an online multiplayer game, most of the time takes place on PC.
Yeah, I won't argue with any of the points. You've got very valid points you have. It's just, I feel something that Microsoft eventually will drop the paywall on that. But then again, it's took them a long time to drop the paywall on free-to-play games. And I truly believe that only dropped the paywall on free-to-play games was because of Halo Infinite being free-to-play. Otherwise, I'm sure people would have done it.
No, I think Sony allows free to play games to be played on
No, what I mean is
PlayStation.
because PlayStation. Sorry, we should clarify. PlayStation done it for a long time before.
Exactly.
I believe Xbox only dropped their paywall on the free to play games because Halo Infinite was coming.
That too, but also like their competition did it, and they were always being held to this like, oh, Sony. But
But it took them years to do it. I believe that. I don't know how long it was, but I think PlayStation had a long time before them.
Well, for the actually Crusader pointed it out last night. They did that when the day Microsoft made free to play games really truly free to play without having to pay for online multiplayer was kind of the worst sorry for trying to raise the price of gold. They came back.
I kind of believe him because Crusader's quite a knowledgeable guy.
And he was correct. I actually remember the news articles. Everybody for like the first day or two, Microsoft was being like literally crucified for raising the price of online multiplayer. And Microsoft came out and was like, sorry, this was something that we had scheduled to be done years and years ago, but nobody thought that the pandemic would be happening during that time and all this other stuff. So we're not going to make the price hike. We're going to leave it the way it is. And we're going to allow free to play multiplayer games to be truly free and to be able to be played without an online subscription. Now that's where I think it's really interesting. Everybody wants Microsoft to go free, like make all online multiplayer free. Well, what about PlayStation? We all know PlayStation loves the nickel and dime. They charge $10 for upgrades. Like Microsoft is giving people value for being in their ecosystem, even though their ecosystem requires a paywall for online multiplayer. But I can go in right now and pop in my Elder Scrolls Online game. Oh, you're on a Series X. Here's a more optimized version of the game. Meanwhile, on PlayStation, if you go buy God of War, which comes out, God of War Ragnarok on the PS4, and you try to put that disc into a PS5, sorry, you bought the game digitally on the PS4, and then you go get yourself a PS5. Oh, yeah, you got to give us $10 to play it on here now. Really? Like that was where I would like. So Xbox has put things in there to basically give their customers value, where I feel PlayStation is going down this road of we need $10 for this, $10 for that. Oh, a $20 over here for this. Yeah, and I don't really feel Microsoft is incentivized to make online multiplayer free.
No, you are right. I mean, with PlayStation, people they just pay it.
Oh, they pay it gladly. They literally think that they think PlayStation's somehow going out of business, and they're like, no, they need my $10. What?
Yeah. Well, like BMG said, it's like, was it a mistake or was it actually a smart forward thinking and a marketing play? I think that Microsoft actually the price hike was done on purpose because they knew what was going to happen, but they capitalized on it.
I don't know. Maybe certain people may have done it on purpose, but I do feel, at least from Phil Spencer's reaction, it was a little left out. It was out of left field for him. He was like, what the hell? You guys are trying to do what?
I don't know. I always thought that it was a marketing ploy, even though.
Hey, bad news is still news.
It is. Vince McMahon, famous for saying that.
Good old Vince McMahon. You heard the news about him, right?
Well, he stepped down as CEO, and Stephanie's CEO, and Triple H is back, and she's given Triple H more power back. But from what I understand, even though all that happened, Vince is still in charge of creative, so not much is going to really change. Even though he's not CEO, he's still head of creative, so not much is going to change there. That's why we've got AEW.
Oh my God.
I'm still learning all the wrestlers on AEW. There's a lot of them. A big roster.
Speaking of AEW, hold on. Do you have a TikTok? Oh my god, a TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh wait a minute, hold it. Damn it. I gotta send you this video. Like freaking my brother sent me this. And literally it's CM Punk and some other dude at AEW just having this back and forth. And you can tell this was real. You could full on tell this was real. You could tell these guys did not like each other. And it was just like, dang. Now, this is in my opinion, that's the kind of stuff I want to see in wrestling, is that real aggressive.
Well, at the minute, I mean, the stuff that AEW is doing is representative of what we've seen in the Attitude Era. That is what's happening in AEW. The way they are, it's like the Attitude Era, kind of. It is what's happening there.
Here we are. We'll send that to you. You'll love this one. That's a TikTok of these guys going back and forth, and they're like using like comments like the "you don't see me, man," and I'm like, oh my god, so we're using WWE superstars as insults. Anyways, but no, I'm curious what's going to happen on the long term with Games with Gold, and just how much the CM message redacted. I think there was a typo.
Yeah, I'll watch that after. I will. I've got it.
Yeah, you got to watch that. You'll laugh. My brother sent me that, and I'm like, oh my god.
It just shows you, though, CM Punk owned his own name.
Oh yeah, and the thing is though, like that, when you watch that video that I sent you, that is why I need to tune into AEW. That is what I'm looking for in wrestling, is these guys literally cutting each other down at the knees, because they understand at the end of the day that this is a competition to obviously get to the top of that glass ceiling and then try to shatter it. And, you know, I'm sorry, but dude, if you're going to go toe to toe with CM Punk in a mouthing off contest, you better have some better lines than what you brought to that one.
Exactly. He's the reason podcasters have to say allegedly. Did you ever hear the one where he dropped bombshells on WWE, accused him of all sorts on CM Punk on his friend's Colt Cabana's podcast? Did you ever watch that podcast or listen to it?
I have not watched the podcast. I will have to watch that one. But
quite
I do
old. It goes back years.
Oh no, I am aware of what they call the pipe bomb.
The only way Colt Cabana got away with it was after he basically got told to say allegedly. When his CM Punk or anyone came on, any accusation, he had to say allegedly with everything, and that's how he got around it. The little lawyers told him to say allegedly. You got to say allegedly, even if it's true. You got to say allegedly.
Yeah, I said allegedly once in a tweet, but for some reason nobody could read that word. They just pretended it wasn't there.
Oh, they do that. CM Punk. Yeah, he's great. He is. But yeah, AEW is the future. It is. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's about what time at your part of the world? What, like almost midnight?
10 to 11.
Yep.
It is.
You probably could be getting tired then, huh?
I am actually, yeah. With all this heat as well. But yeah, it's been fun touring. Thanks for doing this. Hopefully next time we do it, it's cooler.
Well, for you it will be. For me, I won't see cool weather until October.
Well, we British moan about any weather. We'll moan that it's hot tonight, but if it rained heavy tomorrow, it'd become really cold. We'd moan still. We wouldn't, but we'd also thank the heat's gone. But that's what we do. Us British moan. Unless you live up north, they don't really moan about weather. The Northerners don't really moan about weather. They don't. Not often. They say, I'll just put a coat on if it rains. Stuff like
that. Speaking of crunch, being in the workplace, I just had my boss text me wanting me to get them some information. And I'm just like, dude, it's my day off. I'm at home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I will get right on that tomorrow.
Definitely, exactly. But you need to check out AEW.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you want to pay for it or what, but Fight TV, it's on there. You get a 7-day trial. It's like $5.99 a month. There's and you get all the. There's loads of shows you get on there.
Now Fight TV.
Now the pay-per-views ain't included.
Okay,
but it's not like WWE. There's not 12. There's like 4 pay-per-views a year, and they're like 15 quid. It's Luke Steele taught me into, and BMG taught me into it. Because Luke Steele's an avid fan of AEW. He absolutely loves it. He stays up and watches a lot of it live. He does. He loves it.
Plastic wrestling platforms.
Yeah, but if you actually read on the feeds, I do actually mention in the description that it does sometimes start talking about wrestling.
Hey man, entertainment is entertainment. I just bought WWE 2K22. I'm actually enjoying that game.
Nice.
It's just one of those things where everybody loves watching the circus. That's why we all tune into Twitter.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you should try AEW. You should.
Oh, I need to. Now, with AEW, they do put Dynamite and Rampage on Hulu. The only thing is, the only reason why I will not use the pay-per-views is I am not paying $60 for a pay-per-view.
On Fight on the UK, the pay-per-view is like 15 quid.
I will probably more than likely have to use that then to watch them. I'm hoping.
I don't know how the Americans access it. I don't know how.
I would probably more than likely have to use a VPN and probably PayPal them the money.
I don't know how. I don't know if Fight TV just works the same in America. I'm guessing it does. I don't know though how it works. But UK Fight, because there's like on my TV there's a Fight app. It doesn't work. So what I do is I watch it on my Xbox. You can mirror from your phone. Well, I mirror it onto my Xbox, and it works fine. It opens up Microsoft Video, and I watched AEW on there. But yeah,
unfortunately, this subscription offering is not available in your territory.
Oh, you've tried it, yeah?
I just punched it up. Yeah, I just put AEW on.
That's about fucking. Hey, that's about fucking right, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's America. You probably have to take out 4 different cable subscriptions to keep up with all of it or something. You should type in how do I keep up with AEW or something in America, or saying that you'd have to put your state probably. You would. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. That's crap, that is.
Hold on.
And again, cough, you could pirate it. Cough.
I don't.
But no, it's on one of the big TV networks in America. AEWS, TBS, is it TBS? Ted Turner's channel, Ted Turner's network. It's on there.
Yeah,
I believe. I can't believe it's still going. Ted Turner's still going.
That's what I mean. Like literally, the pay-per-views here are like you gotta like order them on like a cable or satellite service, or
the WWE network. You can get it on the WWE network, can't you? Is that the only?
Well, I can watch the WWE network. Yeah, I have that here. But yeah, like
See, Sky meddled in that when I first came to UK. They stopped the launch of it because they wanted a meeting with Sky. Wanted to meet with them because basically they make a lot of their money out of the pay-per-views. You see.
Yep. Okay. Yep. You got to go online. Here's Bleacher Report. They want $50 for this for the one back in May. Double or Nothing.
Fucking hell! Fuck that.
I know. So I'm like, fuck.
Fucking hell.
They're like my days of spending, that much money on a pay-per-view are behind me. The only way I would spend that much money on a pay-per-view now is if we were watching an actual full-blown UFC fight.
Yeah. But no. Yeah, it's crazy how it works over there. It was pretty much a lot better here, but like, what's annoying is, I presume when you buy WWE Network in America, you only get the pay-per-views and you get all the old content. You can't have the current Raw. You can't have the current Raw and SmackDown on the network, can you?
No. So
works the same here then. Yeah, Sky have got all the rights to it.
On the networks. So on the WWE Network, they have deals in place with Hulu and other on-demand providers for for current stuff. So on the network, Raw and SmackDown, and I think even NXT now are a month behind.
Yeah, same in UK.
But when they came out with the WWE Network, all the television providers, the satellite guys, the cable guys, everybody got all butt sore because literally the WWE came out and said a pay-per-view would cost you $15 a month, and that was for in high definition. And the average pay-per-view in high definition through DirecTV when I was buying them was $60 for something in high definition. And if it was WrestleMania, they would charge you $80 freaking dollars to watch WrestleMania. And when the WWE came out and showed that most of the costs associated were basically the television providers were price gouging.
Yeah, I heard all about that. I did. It's like, fucking hell. Well, even back when there weren't no network in the UK, it was 15 or 20 quid on Sky. And that seemed cheap in comparison to what the Americans were getting charged.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, yeah, I can't, I'm not a big fan of it. And the big thing is, in my opinion, the network is more convenient. When you went to buy a pay-per-view on satellite, you had to be there at the beginning of that pay-per-view to see that pay-per-view. They would have the replays. But you had to schedule your life around watching this pay-per-view, where with the network, I can start the pay-per-view whenever I want, stop watching it whenever I want, come back and watch more of it, and I'm not held to this restrictive concept of planning my life around it.
As long as you don't go on Twitter and have it ruined for you.
Right.
Because with Mania, loads of people watch wrestling and don't watch it all year. And then when Mania comes, they'll watch it and go online and spoil it. Do they? Especially for us in the UK, where we're fucking sleeping when you lot are watching it, you know?
No, I understand that all too well. Like right now, I'm on the last episode of Stranger Things. We're going to watch it tonight. And I have been avoiding social media like crazy.
Yeah, because people have been even Ainsley and that from Season Game, and he was saying that in a nice way. He says, but why can't you lot just not spoil it for people? That give them a few weeks before you start spoiling it. But it's wrong. It is. You know. It is, but yeah, it's been a good show tonight. Hopefully, next time we do one, you've actually watched AEW.
No, I probably will. I have a lot. I know I've
You're
got
too busy. You're a busy man. You are.
things are going to probably slow down for me. Tomorrow is the doctor visit where I'm going to have all the tests done, and I'm probably going to be told that I need to start taking a break and relaxing more because I'm basically fucking myself up.
When your wife would be like, "Well, I did tell you, calm down a bit."
Oh, I know. That's why when I like when we read those crunch things about what went down at Bethesda, the developers, their backs hurt and they had their joints hurt from operating a computer, and they would develop tinnitus, and I'm like, huh, sounds like what I go through. It sounds like exactly what I'm going through right now.
Exactly, but hopefully not. But yeah, it's been fun. Do you want to tell people where they can actually, if you're on podcast platforms, please slap a 5-star on Spotify, and if on Apple Podcasts, please drop a 5-star review if you'd like. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone, tonight. BMG, and I reckon only BMG that's been in chat. Yeah,
Hey, it's all good.
Invader Gaming. Yeah, but I did see the likes of Randall 4 and that went live. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was almost.
To be fair, I didn't actually advertise this. I didn't actually advertise this heavily like I usually do.
I thought about it. I know the word podcast is in the name, but I love how everybody's just like, oh, we have a podcast. We have a podcast. We have a podcast. You don't have a podcast. You have a small get together with friends and have a discussion.
Yeah.
A podcast at this point is a massive nationally syndicated thing where, you know what? How about Dealer Gaming has a podcast. 1,000 people tune in live. Randall Thor had almost 1,000 people watching live. That's a podcast. You are captivating people.
I have a different opinion on what a podcast is.
For me, a podcast is
Randall Force is a podcast,
right?
I believe to be defined as a podcast, your podcast should be. I'm wrong, but you should be able to download it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. That's my opinion. That's the way podcasts first started.
Well, but at the same time, the evolution, and some people, like, I'm gonna be upfront. Apple has been a very restrictive company. Spotify has also done some weird things. Like, there's preferences on why people choose one platform or the other. It's just more like if you are running a professionally driven show that attracts people, and you aren't out there like trying to perpetuate very toxic ideals, dude, you got a podcast. But yeah, at this point, I don't go. I use the term podcast very openly, but at any time, if somebody's like, "Well, what do you do?" Oh, they call it podcasting, but I sit down with a really good friend of mine and we have a discussion. Just like all the other shows I'm on, they all have their followings. I mean, like Invader Gaming has grown TXR very well. Wilmy Hood has put a lot of work and effort into Gaming Beyond the Box. Those guys have really, really grinded their ass off to create something that could be considered a podcast. But, like I said, I only come here to have these conversations because I enjoy conversating with you and just honestly just having fun with gaming. And if more people want to listen in the long run, that's cool. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and bitch and moan that nobody tunes in.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's I just enjoy doing them. That's why I do them.
So, no, I enjoy just having the combos.
But yeah, your channel's not. To be fair, your channel's slowly getting used to you going live on YouTube, isn't they? Your YouTube channel's not used to, because obviously on my channel some notifications might go off for live stuff. It's different if people notification for videos is different, but many people will catch up after. They usually do when I put it on the Spotify, etc. We normally get quite a few watch on them platforms too. We do listen. I mean, on them platforms. But yeah, thanks. It's been fun, Centurion. Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yes, why not?
I should be saying that. We're live on your channel. You should be saying that.
Right. Well, for those who do want to find me, obviously I exist right here on Centurion 1307 on YouTube. You can also find me lurking around on Twitter, my bad, and also on Xbox Live. You can also find me every Wednesday night here in the next coming month, not months, in the next coming weeks on Gaming Beyond the Box, hosted by Wilmy Hood and his amazing group over there. Obviously, if you haven't been tuned in, Wilmy Hood has had some stuff happen. He's taking some time off, but he is coming back. It's been great to be able to have conversations with Wilmy Hood almost every single day. He's an absolute blast to chat with. And also, you can find me over on the TXR podcast with Invader Gaming, another hardworking individual out there just trying to make gaming fun for us all. So please send both these gentlemen, actually including Stubbs, all your love, subs, and likes that you can. The idea of building up a more positive environment has become more important than ever on social media. And that's all I can sit there and do is preach. Now, on to you, Stubbs. Where can they find you?
Find me on Stubbs Gaming on YouTube, Stubbs Gaming on Twitter, maybe Stubbs Gaming on TikTok eventually, maybe, who knows. And you can find Midweek Gaming when it returns in September time, probably. That'll be back. But you can find all the shows on Spotify. Just type in Plastic Platforms and you'll find this podcast. As even on Apple Podcasts, you can now find it. It's registering now. But before we had some kind of plastic surgery podcast come up when I tried to find it. But now we've done more episodes. It's now starting to appear.
Oh, you got was plastic surgery?
Honestly, yeah. When I was first trying to find it on Apple Podcasts, that's what was coming. I couldn't find it. But now we've done more and more episodes.
When I did it on YouTube, I got a how to garden with using plastic pallets as platforms.
Yeah, it does come up now. It does. But yeah, you can find all the round table gaming. You can also find as well on Spotify, etc. It all comes up under Midweek Gaming. But if you're interested, if not, it's all on the YouTube channel. And some of the episodes of Plastic Platforms are on Centurions. As next time it'll be on my channel. Then 2 weeks after it'll be back on Centurions. We're just flip flopping from which channel it's on. But just fun to have a good conversation in gaming. It is. But yeah, thanks everyone for popping in, BMG, and anyone who's listening after the fact, please drop a like, drop a comment into chat just to say hello, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Centurion. We'll see you soon.
Later, everybody.